In this video, I'm going to highlight this one feature from Pi, which is this new agentic harness that you can run from the command line. But in order to explain why it's so powerful, I got to run this one demo with Claude first in order to highlight this one pain point that I do have with Claude. It's a crazy interesting demo though. So I'm running a Marimo notebook over here. You can see that I've got this slider, and when I move this slider around, you can see that this cell down below updates, and that's pretty normal in a Marimo notebook because everything is reactive. But the other thing about this notebook that's interesting is that it's running in MoLab, which is this cloud environment that we currently host for free for you to try. And we also just added a new feature because now you can pair with an agent. We have a skill that you can go ahead and install. And with that skill around, you can tell your local agent to connect to this instance. And let me just use Claude to show you why that's pretty fancy as is. So I can just paste that command that the website gave me. I do have to paste in this token for security. There we go. Claude is now going to boot up. You can also see that in the background, it is going to be using this Marimo pair skill. That skill comes with a couple of markdown files and also a few bash scripts that explain how your agent can connect to a Marimo notebook that's running somewhere. And the really cool thing about it is that you get access to Python variables. But here does come a little awkward thing. I got to give permission for pretty much everything that it's doing. So in this case, I'm going to say, yeah, okay, that's kind of fine. But these permissions are a thing that can totally break my flow. Now, it's cool to point out at this moment in time that the way it's going to work is we're giving the agent this context, which is this scratch pad that the notebook has access to. And from there, it can also access globals. So that's how the connection actually works. But again, I have to give permission. So this looks good. I think it's fine. And here's another thing I got to give permission for, another thing, and another thing. And now it's ready. It's made a connection, and I can see this little toast appear as well. So, okay, cool. It's made a connection, and it can see all these different variables. But of course, the one thing that's a bit of a downer is that I have to give it permission all the time. Before moving on to one cool part of the demo, you can see that this slider, I can move it around. I can set it to 5. So I can ask, what is the value of the slider? ? I do have to give permission for this command, but sure. But it's telling me that the value is 5, which is correct. Set the slider to become 8. Again, I have to give it permission, but when I do, I can put my hands off the keyboard, and you can actually see we now have value 8. And also, when I inspect what's happening here, value 8 has been set. But what I want to talk about now is just the fact that even though everything here just worked, the only thing you can really do against this kind of a thing is you got to add this dangerously skip permissions flag. And, you know, if that's your thing, you could do it. But the whole point of having code run in a sandbox is that you can also rest assured. It would be really nice if we could maybe constrain Claude in such a way such that it can read a few files, like the files for the skills that it needs. It's also allowed to run a few things on bash, namely the few bash scripts that are part of the skill, but that it can't touch anything locally beyond that. And a lot of harnesses have lots of cool things that you can configure, but it's usually on a high level. It's not like you can write a function that defines what you can and cannot touch, at least as far as I'm aware. And this is where Pi actually offers something really interesting. So I'm in a folder right now that has a .py folder with some extensions, and Pi is written in TypeScript. And here's a little TypeScript file that describes a guard for Marimo pair. I can scroll down over here to show you the most important part. So eventually we get to this one function. This is the main function of the extension. And it's going to say, look, every time that there's an event of tool call, then we're going to check what kind of event it is. Is it an event that's doing some reading? Well, then we're going to block if you're going to try to read a file that you're not allowed to write. There's a helper function for that. Similarly, oh, you want to edit something? Well, local file editing is disabled. Same with writing. And with bash, again, we have a helper function that's going to tell us if the bash function is something that you are allowed to run. Why is this so relevant? Well, if I have a look at the Marimo pair skill over here, then you can see that there are a couple of scripts around besides the markdown. And the scripts that we've got there, well, those are bash scripts. It needs to be able to run that. But with that extension that I just showed you, I can really be specific and say, only those files are you allowed to run, nothing else. And just to be clear, when I run Pi now, because in this folder I've got this extension defined, it's actually going to load with this extension every time that I start up Pi. So next thing we got to do is figure out a way to get this connected to MoLab. And for that, I actually wrote this little helper in my zshell.rc file. There's this Pi MoLab function, and it's going to load the prompt that we also use when we ran Claude. That's the thing we copied in. But If we have a look at that command we had here, you do notice that it passes a URL, which is the URL where this notebook is currently running. So that's the URL I also got to copy for Pi. So I'm going to run pymolab, and now I give it that one URL. It's going to start a Pi. Before I can do anything, I do have to provide a authentication token. I can go back to the site one more time, copy that, put it in, and the repair skill can run just fine. It's doing a little bit of thinking, but again, all of this stuff is running while this one extension is loaded. So even if the LLM tries to do things it's not allowed to do, it's going to get some errors. And there you already go. It tried to run something and an error got thrown. It's blocking this one particular type of behavior. And it's really forcing the agent to take a step back, right? But eventually we can see it's connected, which is awesome. Let's set the slider to 10 now. What is the slider value? Question mark. And after a bit, we can indeed see the slider value to 5. I'm going to go back, hands off the keyboard. Click, it goes to 5. So we can see we have the full circle, but the one difference again with Claude is that this is configurable. So if you don't feel like running your agent in danger mode, and if you also don't feel like saying yes to everything, Pi actually does give you a escape hatch if it were. And another cool thing about Pi is that it's also just relatively flexible. There's lots of models that you can go ahead and pick from. If I'm not mistaken, you can also use OpenRouter for all those open source models, which is also just great. But the really cool thing about Pi is just it really does invite you to customize the experience for the thing that you're interested in doing. And if the main thing is that you're interested in connecting to Molab via Marimo Pair, then it means that you can actually customize the agent as well as the harness around it to facilitate that. And that, I think, is super interesting. And that's the main thing I wanted to show, because this environment really is nice and sandboxed and really bespoke to the notebook experience. So feel free to give that a spin if you haven't already.